You get to choose to see or experience something through the lens of misery or joy, and it's all completely up to you. And this is why mindset work is so important. This is why regulating emotions is so important. And that's the thing with control. Control is the opposite of certainty, because control says, if I can do this and map this out and tick XYZ boxes and plan every step of the process and do every step of the process, then I get to control how quickly that thing comes to me. But you know what control actually makes you feel? It actually makes you feel more exhausted. It makes you feel like you're more behind. It makes you feel like you're just constantly chasing something that never actually arrives. And this is putting you in the opposite state that you need to be in to receive and to experience abundance. It literally teaches you that there is not enough and you need to take control so that you can make sure there is enough. And by choosing to just be here and now and to focus what's on here and now, you're not caught up in what is in the past, what stories have happened, what hurts and pains and evidence that you have of the past, nor are you caught up in the future and the fears of the future, the worries, the anxieties, the plans of the future. You're just in the moment.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nicole, a life and business coach for high-functioning women. I'm a self-proclaimed foodie, content creator, educator, and your new abundance bestie. In my world, we talk about all things to do with elevating your life. I post weekly videos helping the everyday woman embody her highest self, create inner wealth, master her mindset, unlock her femininity, and be an absolute boss in life. I create resources, trainings, and host experiences online and in person in order to help you reconnect to your true self. Not the one you think you need to be, but the you that you were born to be. So you can reclaim your power and amplify your voice to lead, love, and create as a woman. If you like my vibe and you want a little bit more abundance in your life, hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new episode. And be sure to check out the free resources in the description below.
Hello, my loves, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole, your abundance bestie, and on this channel, we talk about all things abundance, wealth creation, mindset, and creating a healthy life from the inside out. Today's topic I'm very excited to talk about because let's be real, this is a buzzword, abundance. What is abundance? And you guys, this word has been circulating in the kind of self-development space for the past year or so. And lately, especially in the spiritual world or in the mindset world, it's just been something that people are now understanding. And I feel like it's got a lot to do with the post-COVID revelations and breakthroughs that we all had, where life kind of shook us up and was like, hey, what are you doing with your life? Or made us realize that we were actually low-key miserable and not in alignment to the life that we can be living. So I feel like abundance is something that we are all sort of aware of, and we kind of have an idea of what it means, but we don't really know. And so today I want to define it for you in the way that I've come to understand it, and hopefully this helps you get to know what abundance is all about. But before I get into it, I want to just open up with the reason why it actually is helpful to know what abundance is. I think we're all familiar with the feeling of knowing that there's something more and yet feeling really deeply unsatisfied or discontent with our current reality. And it's not to say that we hate our lives or we feel like we're just so miserable, but it's that we all know that feeling of there's something more for me and I just can't define it. I just can't put my finger on it. And to me, that shows us that as human beings, we have the capacity to actually have more. And it's not the more that we think it is. It's not the more that marketing or media or consumerism or capitalism says you need to have in order to be satisfied. No, I believe the more is the longing of the soul. It's the deep knowing of our innate selves that is aware that this life and the things that seem to matter to us in this life, in our society, in our families, in our cultures, is just one dimension of being able to receive and experience the good things. And I think that that connection, you could almost call it spiritual or soulful. It shows us that we are more than just our physical dimension. We are more than just what's here and now. And I think we've experienced this dimension or this, this like kind of soulful, deeper level to our humanity when we experience true love for the first time, or when we experience genuine joy, and even when we experience grief and like complete and utter loss. And complete and utter lostness or loss. I don't know, lostness is not a word. So I think we all are aware that there is like this deeper layer to life that we are yet to understand or comprehend. And I think we spend most of our lives looking for that state. And that brings me to abundance, because I think that at the core of what abundance is it is an experience. And I'm going to define it for you in a second. But I think that experience is really what we're looking for when we're trying to earn all the monies, or when we're trying to up the ranks in our jobs or in our industries, or when we're trying to prove our fame and popularity to the world and gain the approval of other people. All of these things that we seek through material things, tangible outcomes, labels, status, wealth, are just expressions of the soul wanting to feel more fulfilled. And that fulfillment comes with being at home with yourself. Because what most people realize, and every wealthy person, every successful person, every person who's up the ranks or who's gotten all the fame will tell you this themselves, they are not any more happy, any more satisfied, any more at peace than they were before, without the labels, without the titles, without the money. Because it's not those things that actually grant that state that we seek to us. It's the inner world and knowing how to be at peace with yourself and to be at home with your own soul that creates the experience that we all seek, and that is abundance. See, we live in a world that tells us that abundance is on the other side of having a lot of money, or having the best car, the best house, especially if you're in the Western world. We live in a society that associates abundance and the experience of joy and fulfillment to other things outside of us instead. Oh my God, I just dropped my coffee. Oh my God. Look, it fell on my slippers. We live in a world that tells us that there is just no other way to access those states outside of having more. And the thing you're going to learn about abundance today is it is the complete opposite, and it's why we've got it all twisted and why we spend our whole lives on this hamster wheel just chasing and chasing and chasing and working and working and working and never being fulfilled. And the secret is not out there. It's not when you get the job, or when you have the income, or when you get this certain house or car, or have this certain level of fame. It's not out there. It's in here. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to access that abundance from the inside out so that you can live fulfilled, content, joyful, and wealthy from the inside out. And you watch, when you live your life that way, you will ultimately create more of the things you want. But at the same time, you get to live detached and unfazed by all the worries of the world. And you just get to enjoy your life so much more. You don't feel like you're in golden handcuffs where you're convincing yourself that your life is good when really you don't love it. It doesn't light you up. So let's get into it. So let's firstly define what is abundance. Abundance to me is the state of enoughness. Now, I don't know if enoughness is actually a word, maybe I made it up, but to me, abundance has always meant that there is no fear and no lack. And a state of enoughness comes with a knowing and a certainty that there will always be enough. There will always be enough to go around for everyone, that I always have enough, that I will never run out, that I don't need to worry. So I want you to think of abundance as the experience of what we have every single moment when we're breathing. When we breathe air, even if we take a huge breath of air, like inhale, and some more, you inhaling that air does not take away from anybody else's access to more air. It's this limitlessness. It's this infinite provision that you know that there is more than enough to go around and there is no shortage of supply. Abundance in and of itself is the experience of enough. And how funny that we live in a world that is fueled by scarcity. We are targeted in the marketing, in the media, in every avenue of life to believe that there is not enough. And that scarcity is what drives us to make purchases that we don't even need to purchase. It drives us to make decisions that we don't even want to make, that don't even feel in alignment to us. And it keeps us in that panic, fight or flight survival mode because we believe we have to fend for ourselves because there is not enough. So in essence, my definition is that it is a state of enough. And the way you hold that state is by having certainty. I believe that we all have the ability to be certain in an instant. Deciding to be certain about something is just a decision that you make. And the thing is, you're going to be like, well,
How do I be certain that there's enough when I don't have enough money to pay my bills?
How do I know that there's enough when there literally isn't enough?
and this is where it gets a little bit abstract, because when you look at money as a one-dimensional thing that you only ever really have what's in front of you, and you don't look at it as if it's a limitless pool of resource that is just flowing in and out of people's lives, bank accounts, transactions. Like, if you don't look at money as this large resource that actually can never run out, then it's just going to be really hard to step outside of that. So in reality, you want to treat everything in life with the same detachment as you do with the oxygen and the air that you breathe. And it's really abstract because, again, there are certain things like time and money that we kind of fall into the trap of believing that there is a limitlessness to it, simply because we have structures that society has built and has ingrained in us that make us see the world through that lens. So for example, with money, we believe that money is only limited to what we have or what we get paid at work, and to a certain number of hours that we can afford to work and then be therefore paid for. Like, the reality is, though, money is limitless and the access to it is limitless. If you got around people who taught you how to make money in an instant through learning different skills, having different tools, and these people never worked a single day in their life doing an hourly job, being paid a certain rate because somebody said this was their rate, then you're going to experience a completely different paradigm of money. So this is how fluid it can be. And fluid is the word here, right? And so how does this connect to abundance and certainty? It's that when you live your life in a paradigm where there is no one-dimensional lens of looking at things, rather it's a complete detachment. It's that everything is just moving and operating, and I just get to interact with it, and there is a limitlessness to all of these things, then I can engage with it in a healthy way. I think that certainty plays a huge factor in this, because when we are certain that there is always enough to go around, that we will always have enough, that more is always coming, whether it be monetary or whether it be an emotion. So many of us are so good at telling ourselves that we're not allowed to feel good for too long. Like, think about it. When you feel good or when you feel pleasure, how quickly do you shut down that pleasure because you feel bad? The only reason why you do that is because you're wired to constantly be feeling bad. Feeling good induces guilt. It induces a lot of shame. It induces self-narratives that you feel really uncomfortable with because you don't think you're deserving of feeling good. Like, these are things that have been conditioned and learned. And we live in a society that tells you you need to feel bad. I know, right? How crazy, but this is the truth. This is how we are wired. So many of us are not used to experiencing the abundance of good emotion that actually is available to us every single day, every single moment. And your conditioning, your childhood, your cultural upbringing, your societal upbringing, like all of these things have influenced your experiences, and they are what perpetuate your experiences as well, unless you do the inner work and you check in on them and you redefine that narrative. And so certainty is so important, and you can begin to experience abundance of money, of your wealth, your joy, your peace. You can experience a limitlessness and an enoughness and be in that constant state if you can just practice holding certainty and being certain that there is always enough for you. And I think one of the things that always helps myself and my clients to practice certainty is to remind ourselves of the fact that this has actually been the case. And it might be helpful to look back at the track record of your life of like, when has money ever failed you? It has always been there. There has always been just enough or more than enough, but you just couldn't see it at the time. Same thing with your joy. When has joy never been available to you? It has always been available to you, but you just didn't choose it. You get to choose to see or experience something through the lens of misery or joy, and it's all completely up to you. And this is why mindset work is so important. This is why regulating emotions is so important, or detachment is so important. And we learn all these practices, whether it be in the personal development space or even in the spiritual space, as a way to help us detach from the experiences of life that feel so true when really they're not true. They're just experiences. And all spiritual practices, all spiritual teachers, all mindset health practices, and even psychology and counseling, all of them are designed to help you detach from the experiences that are creating resistance and friction and discomfort in your life and remind you that you are actually in control of your experiences. Right? Because what trauma does and what scarcity does, what lack does, what fear does is it attaches you to things that you think are who you are. You think they make up your identity when really they do not. They just feel like they are true. But in reality, you can look at them through a completely different lens and they get to stand outside of you as something that, yes, you experience, but it is not you. It does not make up who you are, nor does it get to define the rest of your life. And so, certainty is available to you every single moment. It's just about deciding that you have it, deciding that abundance is yours, that there's always enough and there's always a limitlessness to everything you desire, and you don't need to chase. You don't need to pursue. You don't need to hustle, because all that you want is available to you. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. That is the essence of abundance, and certainty is something you want to practice every single day. So how do you access abundance? Like I said, abundance and the experience of enoughness is available to us all the time, but so many of us have trouble being able to access it or activate that state of abundance and also stay in it because we just weren't taught the tools or the skills. And in fact, every time we've experienced that enoughness and that expansiveness of knowing that we don't need to worry, we have been conditioned to kind of shut it down and to make it wrong even. And, in moments in life, we know this feeling. We know the feeling of like, I'm going to be okay. Or we know the feeling of like, things are just going to work out and I don't have to worry. We know that feeling, but it's so fleeting and we don't know how to stay in that feeling because our mind kind of just hijacks the system. It reminds us of all the reasons why we need to worry or all the reasons why it's not going to be okay. Because again, the mind's job is to help you to survive. It's to help keep you safe. The mind doesn't care if you're happy. The mind doesn't care if you feel abundant or feel good. Its job is to help you survive. And so what it does is it looks at all the evidence it knows. It measures and hypothesizes from the evidence of all the things that could happen, and it helps you make decisions for your survival. You know what that does? It keeps you often in a state of survival. It keeps you living like you are still in fear when actually you can be okay. Or it keeps you living in a state of logic instead of dreaming and possibility and openness to what can be. And often when you live so much in your mind or in your head, a lot of your decisions are very logical, they're very calculated, they're very fear-induced as well. And it limits the parts of your brain, or it limits the parts of your soul that wants to come out and play, that wants to experience possibility, and that wants to experience the fact that things can happen in unintended ways, and they can even be better for us than what we could have planned or imagined. And if you think about all the great moments in your life, a lot of those moments actually happened in a state of possibility and openness and release and surrender. And that is essentially what we talk about when we say flow state, because that flow state, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, that flow state is the path of least resistance. It's when you're not attached to how things need to be and you're not clinging to, results or actions to feel that you are safe or validated, or that you can be certain that the thing you want is available for you and is on its way to you. It's complete release. It's complete surrender. It's complete being in your body and being in your present moment, rather than in your head and trying to calculate and logicalize everything. And so that flow state is really that experience of when things sort of happen and you don't even plan for it, and things just happen at the right time. You meet people in the right way. And this can be a state that you live in all the time. That is a state of flow, and that is the experience of consistent abundance, right? And so when you ask the question, how do you access abundance? It's simple. It's about being. It's about presence. It's about being outside of your brain and your mind and living at the level of your body, in that you are choosing to be here and now. And by choosing to just be here and now and to focus what's on here and now, you're not caught up in what is in the past, what stories have happened, what hurts and pains and evidence that you have of the past, nor are you caught up in the future and the fears of the future, the worries, the anxieties, the plans of the future. You're just in the moment. When you are in the moment, what happens is you get out of that survival mode because you realize that there's actually no immediate threat right now. There is no need for you to have to chase a certain result or seek a certain outcome, because right now in this moment, you're actually okay. One of the ways that you can really access that presence and that being in your body state is through breath work or just breathing. And breath work really reminds you, because if you're able to breathe intentionally, like breathe all the way in and feel your breath go all the way in, as well as exhale all the way out, you can really just be in that moment, and all of the worries of your mind of the past and the future sort of dissipate with that. And it not only, breath work is also really great for calming down your nervous system. It's great for keeping your mind at bay and getting your body to self-regulate. Another thing that you can do is also move your body. So like I said, experiencing that abundance comes with being present, because when you are present, you're not in panic, you're not in trying to create, you're not in hustle, you're just in the moment. And one of the greatest ways to do that as well is to move your body. And this is why athletes are so great at channeling flow state, or being able to trigger that in the zone mode where they just do incredible things, they create incredible results, they ideate at a new level. But not just athletes, right? Creatives, musicians, anybody who is able to really tap into that getting in the zone state, they're able to really understand this. And it's moving your body or engaging with an activity fully that is also very mindful. And that mindfulness is a channel through which you can experience that peace, you can experience that serenity, that blissfulness of knowing that everything's going to be okay. I have enough. I am brilliant. I know exactly what I need to do. And it's this beautiful concoction of like neurochemistry that happens in your mind when you're in flow state, as well as the activation of the part of you that is not just in your logical state. You're able to actually think more laterally in flow state. I actually have a program called Flow-Based Business, and I do flow-based business mentoring one-on-one for people who want to access this level of thinking, this level of operating both in life and business. And I encourage you to check that out in the description below if you are interested in any of those programs, because this is a new way of operating. And if you are somebody who is sick and tired of the hustle, sick and tired of always having to focus and hustle and grind and like just put in all the work and be so action oriented, but you want to lean into your secret superpowers that nobody ever told you how to use, like flow state and the higher faculties of your mind, do reach out or do click those links in the description, because that's going to really serve you. It's going to be a style of business, a style of life that you have never thought was available to you, but is so much more efficient and effective. And so anyway, accessing flow, accessing abundance, and the experience of enoughness comes with reminding yourself all you ever really have is just in the present moment. It's just here and now. And if you think about the most powerful moment you ever have in your life, it's always the now. It's the decisions you make in the present moment that make a difference, because you don't really have control anywhere else. You can't control the past or the future. You just get to control the now. A book that I definitely recommend is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and such a powerful read. I encourage you to read it. It's a slow burn kind of book. You don't want to rush through it. You want to really read it slowly, digest it, and process the information. Would definitely recommend that book. Okay, so you've heard me mention the word flow, and the reason why flow is relevant to the state of abundance is because flow is basically the posture of receiving. Well, how I would define it, that is. Flow state is essentially being on your path of least resistance. It's being on the path of being at the highest vibration, or feeling the feel-good emotions, thinking the thoughts that bring your state to a higher level, thinking abundance, reminding yourself there is enough. It's being in this level where you are not worried about anything or fearful of anything, and therefore your vibration is completely at a state where you can actually receive. To keep it simple, flow state is being able to attract or create things that just come to you in their own accord because you are allowing them to, instead of chasing them, seeking them out, or trying to figure out. And a lot of our business strategies, a lot of our strategies for life and achieving results and goals in the modern world are to do with hustle. It's to do with action. It's to do with push and kind of grasping and clawing for a result, versus also integrating the power of allowing and being and not pushing and striving. And I think that's the beauty of abundance. Abundance basically says, like, if the thing that you want is already guaranteed, it's already your birthright to have, then why are you out here trying to hustle to create it? Why don't you just enjoy your life in the meantime and let it come to you in its own way? And that's the essence of abundance. There is no striving or pushing, and it's almost like a release of the timeline as well. And I say this all the time to my flow-based business and my life coaching clients, where if you were really certain that it was available to you and it was on its way to you, why are you so worried? Why are you so rushed? Why are you trying to do all these things when it's just creating more friction in your life? It's just making you feel even more miserable or more scarce. And that's the thing with control. Control is the opposite of certainty, because control says, if I can do this and map this out and tick XYZ boxes and plan every step of the process and do every step of the process, then I get to control how quickly that thing comes to me. But you know what control actually makes you feel? It actually makes you feel more exhausted. It makes you feel like you're more behind. It makes you feel like you're just constantly chasing something that never actually arrives. And this is putting you in the opposite state that you need to be in to receive and to experience abundance. It literally teaches you that there is not enough and you need to take control so that you can make sure there is enough. Isn't that so funny how we're taught all these strategies to control instead of being taught how to be, to allow, to receive the goodness that's coming to us, and to actually experience all the good emotions? If we're talking quantum physics, if we're talking energetics, these practices will literally tell you that unless you are in a state of having the thing that you actually want, even if you don't have it now physically, but unless you're in the state of knowing that it's yours and experiencing what you would experience if you were to have it, then you can't possibly attract it. You're literally going to repel it. And that is the state that we are often in. We're constantly in a state where we are actually repelling the things we want because we are just in the opposite vibration. We're in the state of lack and fear and working towards it. Because again, if it were already yours, if it were already guaranteed, then you wouldn't need to chase for it. You would literally just be waiting for it. Like, think of the queen. Why does the queen move so slow? I mean, her age aside, but her wealth, her assuredness, her knowing that she's got people who are tending to her needs, that she's got everybody on call, that she literally has what she wants available to her in an instant. She doesn't need to worry. in the same way, she holds herself with such security. She moves at a slow pace, not because she needs to be slow, but because she's literally certain people are going to wait on her. She's certain that she doesn't need to be in a rush because her time is valuable to her and it's valuable to everybody else. She knows her self-worth. She knows her security. And if you were to carry yourself in that energy of like, I am a queen, I can move at the pace I want. When I ask for things, they are guaranteed. They're on their way to me. I don't need to search. I just need to be here and enjoy and it'll come to me. Like that is the energy, let's say queen energy, but it's the energy of abundance and flow state. So in essence, what flow state is the path of least resistance. There's going to be a whole other video that I'm going to talk about this flow state in essence, but to help you kind of bridge that gap, if you're sitting here and you're like, I really want to experience more abundance in my life. I want to feel more joy more often. I want to feel less worried, less stressed. I don't want to be caught up about the money. I just want to have a good life. That is my goal. I am all for it. Like, I used to laugh at people who had the goal of like,
I just want to be happy. That's my goal.
because I was like,
Is that measurable? Is that a smart goal? Is that tangible? Like, come on.
but in reality, that's all we want. Like when we're working so hard, when we're trying to chase the money, the labels, the titles, the status, what we're really looking for is that peace that comes with abundance. And if you could activate abundance right now, then you wouldn't need to hang your validation on the possessions, the cars, the material things, the neighborhood that you live in. All those things would just be a choice because you want to experience life in that way, but you're not seeking to be validated by these things. You're not seeking to feel at peace by these things. Right? And this is the trap that so many of us are finding ourselves in. And it's hurting us every single day. It's breaking relationships. It's stopping our access to the things that actually matter to us in life. And it's keeping us blinded to the abundance that is so available for us every single moment. And so, my loves, as you step into the world and your week up ahead, I encourage you so deeply to remind yourself of why you have absolutely everything you need in this moment. Remind yourself why money supports you in this moment. Remind yourself why you get to be so grateful and why you are so lucky to be alive, why you are ultimately the most blessed person out there. Find reasons for why you can be grateful right now and bring yourself back into the present moment. Resist the urge to worry about the future or to obsess over the past because that is taking you out of your abundance. If you can practice feeling so grateful and so present in the now, you will find that you actually are so supported and that the things that will come to you at the right time and you don't need to worry. And even if you are praying, seeking, asking for a miracle, stop being desperate about it. Stop begging that things will change because they will when you decide with certainty and hold that level of certainty. They are already done. They are already yours. You are already healed. That thing is already yours and you just get to decide. We need to stop being beggars and we need to start acting like queens because that is our birthright. And I don't think anybody in your world is going to tell you that you are wealthy, that you are abundant, that you have limitless access to the things you want because they are so programmed to believe and think in a way that is scarce. And that's okay. We don't judge them for it. We just shine our light. We be abundance. We carry ourselves with certainty that good things always flow our way. And we watch as our worlds begin to change as a result because you are a light for other people by nature, and it's time you start shining your light for yourself first, okay? So my loves, that is all for today's video. I hope that this helped you to understand abundance in a simple way, and I hope that you activate more of that abundance, that you feel into your natural birthright of wealth today. And if anything that I said interested you, please make sure you check out the resources that I provided in the description and check out my programs as well. I am currently opening up spots for 101 flow-based life and business coaching, and my program for women called Embody is also always taking enrollments. So I hope that you'll join me in some of those programs if that helped you out. And if you are interested, in more videos and content like this, please make sure you hit the subscribe button to be notified when I drop new videos, and to hit like and leave a comment as well so I can say hello to you and encourage you on your way. All right, my loves, I'm signing out. I'll chat to you in the next video. Bye.
If you want to take your abundance to another level, I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades. Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.